Yes, people, we're out in the Bull Bay section right now up in the hills where we have people from the police department, communication personnel, along with news media up here this morning. Yes, they will be speaking about the traffic movements in this area. We have ACP Gary Mackenzie from the traffic department, Winchester Watson from the traffic department also, and Mr. Stephen Shaw will be speaking this morning as it relates to the road, the opening of the new highway and improvement road in St. Thomas. So stick and stay, watch where I go on.
All right, so as you know, we have recently opened 10 kilometers of this 70-kilometer stretch between Dallas and Harbour View. One of the critical things that we want to zoom in on is the issue of safety, or the safe use of this particular road. Already, unfortunately, we have had fatal accidents, at least one, on this particular bit of road. We have had other near misses. We had an accident last week that was reported in the press, and we want to engage the motoring public and pedestrians alike, all road users, and to implore them that while we are happy, we are truly, and I know they're grateful to be using this new bit of road, it is very, very important that we do so with utmost care. Care for ourselves and care for our neighbors. And our neighbors in this instance are all the other persons who happen to use or will be using this particular corridor. From an engineering standpoint, we have done certain things. We have widened the road. We have sought to reduce the numbers of corners. We have started to erect signs to indicate where persons ought to slow. We have also, importantly, indicated where it is that the road is steep and extra care ought to be taken. And so in that particular vein, we have also enlisted the support of the JCF, and here with us is the ACP in charge of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, which will play a key role in assisting us generally, meaning the country, in ensuring that persons use this corridor and use it in a safe way.
So where we are at now is in the vicinity of the 10 miles area along the Bull Bay main road. What we have seen, or what we have been seeing, is the fact that there has been development on the roadway. The roadway itself has changed over time, and so persons who have been traversing from St. Thomas to Kingston and vice versa, it is necessary to ensure that they first look at what is happening and take the necessary responsibility. Where we are at now, there is an 8% gradient, and so it requires that persons who are driving, especially large vehicles or vehicles with loads, that they ensure that they select the right gears, that they drive at the correct speeds, and that they observe the signs that are in place, and that is very important. I want to mention that this entire area that was mentioned from Harbour View going out to Dallas is really a construction zone at the moment that traffic is being accommodated, and as such we intend to treat it as such. We have observed that this particular incline have some cutouts that are serving as some temporary rumble strips, which is very good because persons have been slowing down. From a public safety and traffic enforcement perspective, the police will ensure that they provide the necessary monitoring, and we will be collaborating with the persons who are actually doing the construction. Of course, it being a construction zone which is provided for under the Road Traffic Act, we are making the fact that these safety issues, the public ought to be aware of it. We will also ensure that we apply for it to be gazetted as such, so that we will be covered in terms of monitoring in a full way, because where persons disobey the signs or the directions of persons who are managing the entire area, then that will become an offense. The police, of course, will have to monitor. It was mentioned that we have had a collision on the roadway that unfortunately took about 3 lives, and we have had a number of crashes. And so we have to monitor, we have to police it. It is an area that is being used by the public, and so it is absolutely necessary that the police maintain some presence. We are very mindful that especially at nights, people will speed, and so it is very dangerous. I want to say as much that when the road, this is a very smooth, very wide, very nice road, but when it rains, the drag factor of the road surface will become lower, and so persons who apply brakes will find that they will slide across the road surfaces in a faster manner, and they will lose control when all the forces, of course, is taken up in braking. So we really want Jamaica to understand that, yes, this is a very positive, substantial development for our convenience, but we have to use it safely.
Winchester Watson, Superintendent, the Traffic Enforcement Division. I will also add that over the years, persons have been traveling at particular speed on this stretch of road because of the nature of the road. So seeing this piece of road, they will want to increase their speed. And we just want to say for those persons, especially those that are moving passengers from the carpet area to St. Thomas, be extremely careful. We'll be out here daily to monitor you. We want to just implore on you that, listen, it's not a piece of road to just get away with. We have animals on the road, we have pedestrians, school children, we have to look out for them. We have to protect them. We have the motorcyclists, the most vulnerable users of the road. So we want to implore you to just go easy, and for most part, it will be a 50-kilo area for most part of this road. So just be mindful that the police will be here, the road is still under construction, and we'll be looking out for the breaches.
On the way here, we noticed several breaches where people using sections of the road that have not been opened. Right? And we haven't seen where the police in the
Right.
You can't really, that's not really a policing issue, really.
No, but I would prefer to answer that.
Okay.
Because I answered it already.
Yeah.
But let me answer it again. Right. So, one of the things that the police do, especially during the day, is to manage. Okay. Right, so one of the things that the police do, especially during peak time, is to manage the flow of traffic to get people to work safely. If you had observed, especially during 6:30 to 8:30, a number of police officers were at the choke points, ensuring that people get to work. One of the things that we have been doing is speaking to the drivers. As I had said earlier, this area we have to properly designate it. And so this is the reason why this particular forum is very important, because we want to highlight it to the public that once we have the signs in place, some have already been in place, then the enforcement will increase. And so the provisions of the Road Traffic Act will be enacted, and as Superintendent Watson said, all breaches will be dealt with. But it is very important that the public first understands. We have to police ourselves. It is 10 kilometers of roadway. The resources are always limited. This is a 10-kilometer roadway, and so police will not always be at every kilometer. And that is the reason why everyone has to be responsible in how they use the road.
But the fatal accident down by Albion is pretty much the same thing.
Well, for that particular collisions, if you ask about it, what had happened is that the motorist had disobeyed the sign and had left the roadway and ventured in an area that they should not have gone into. And that is the reason why it is very important for the public to be very observant. Look where the signs are, look where the detours are, because you will not have a person from the construction zone being at every detour or the police.
But coming up here this morning,
Yes,
there are sections of the roadway that have not been open.
yes.
And motorists use it and then cut off the people and when they try to come back on the other side. Right? And I figure if you have somebody, a personnel, close to that area, it would prevent them from doing that.
Now let me tell you what happens a lot of times. And because remember, this is a 17-kilometer stretch of road. It's open. It's not a green field where you can put blockage at one end and at the other end, and you prevent persons from going through. This is an active, what we call a brown field.
You know, it is very interesting that this question has been asked about persons being at every point to prevent people from driving. Remember now, each and every licensed driver, they were taken through the road code, and they ought to understand how and why it is necessary to obey a sign.
Yes.
Right? So you will not have a police officer or a person at each and every point. We are talking about over 500 points. So we will not have someone at every point along the 17-kilometer stretch. And so that point that you brought up is very important, but it is important for the public to understand that they have to observe and obey the signs, obey the rules of the zone, and everyone will be safe. It has to happen.
Self-governance.
It has to happen. Let me say something to you, because it is not a fact to say that everybody will it. A lot of persons control the rules of the road. And also, it is very important to note that last year in particular, over 700,000 traffic tickets were issued to persons already. Since this new Road Traffic Act, we have actually executed over 500 warrants, right? And so we have to do what we have to do. Where persons disobey the law, we have to, of course, speak and educate some persons. We have to warn some persons. We have to prosecute some persons. And where it is necessary, we will have to arrest. Right? But it is very important that everyone take the responsibility to abide by the law. Where they do not do it, it is expected that the police will take action, and that is something that we have been doing. The question is asked, should we do more? I will jump and say yes. But the fact of the matter is that we prefer not to. We prefer every citizen to traverse roadways, obey the rules, and ensure that they are safe wherever they are going.
Just to advise persons who are going to be using the stretch of road between Harborview and Yallas come this weekend. For 3 days from Saturday until the end of the day on Independence Day, the road is going to be reduced to single lane in the vicinity of Shooters Hill. Why? We have some embankment work to do on the seaside for about 400 meters. On the land side, we have a challenge with JPSCO poles that are to be relocated. Those will not be relocated until the end of the month based on the schedule that the JPSCO has given us. We have been working with the police and the contractors. You would have observed this morning there are police personnel in that very space out in Shooters Hill. We expect that that will continue to assist us in ensuring that the 3 days that we are going to be using to create that widened section of road or to create that embankment will be used in a good way, so that come August 8th, the first day back after the long weekend, persons should have more road on which to travel and an easier commute between 10 miles and Harborview, say. All right, so I want persons to be aware of it. So if it is that you have to make arrangements to travel between Kingston and say Yallas or vice versa, say you want to go to the airport and so on, add a little bit more time to that which you would normally use to get to your destination, because there is going to be every likelihood of traffic delays in this space because the area of focus is going to be about 400 meters.
Mr. Shaw, up by Lesson School in St. Thomas, right? Lesson School have the most kids going, right? And you don't have a pull off or lay by for the taxi or bus to let up and pick up kids out that side.
In terms of those are issues that we would have had to contend with given the lay of the land and the space that we have. If it is that we have the right of way being wide enough to accommodate that, then that is something that we'll do. But the project, as it were, conceptualized in that particular area, it is a reconstruction of the existing carriageway. It wasn't about doing anything major beyond that which existed. To have gone beyond that, we have had to do possible land acquisition. It was not part and parcel of that particular area. We will just have to look at that which is there and see how best we can work without putting anyone, including the children, at risk. What we have done in the past and that we're going to do with the License School and every other such institution is that the NWA through the Communication Department, the Ministry of Transport through the Road Safety Unit, we and the police, we have collaborated where we have gone into institutions, tried to speak to children and adults, try to educate them as to how to best use roads that are.
This is how it should be done. This truck man is showing it how it should be done. Coming off the hill with this load. It's taking its time. Look at it. Yeah man, this is what they're talking about. Big up yourself, youth. That nice shot? left on it.